Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Monday, April 3rd, 2023 Town Council meeting. If you will please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance and then remain standing for a moment of silence for Mr. Larry DeBear. Thank you. Oh, gosh. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Oh my gosh. So I think before we go on to public comment, we are going to do the proclamation recognizing National Public Health Week. And as it turns out, the folks who are coming are sick.
Ironic.
It's not funny. We're not laughing at you. It's just ironic. Yes. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to read the proclamation anyway, and maybe at their request. And then we can hopefully have them next time. But so it is National Public Health Week, April 3rd through the 9th. And so whereas the American Public Health Association has proclaimed April 3rd through the 9th as National Public Health Week, and this year's theme, Centering and Celebrating Cultures and Health, celebrates feeling like we belong, being a part of our communities and fostering cultural connections, which supports our health and the quality of our lives. And by building healthier, stronger, and safer places to live, the United States can be the healthiest nation in one generation. And whereas for 28 years, the annual celebration of National Public Health Week reminds us of the fundamental role that our own state and local health departments play every day in the health of our communities. And whereas the Health District, in partnership with the 4 towns, has been dedicated and driven to reduce morbidity and mortality from COVID-19 over the past 3 years. And whereas the town of Rocky Hill, together with its neighboring towns of Berlin, Newington, and Wethersfield, receives quality public health service through its regional health department, the Central Connecticut Health District, now in its 27th year of service. Now, therefore, I, Lisa J. Murata, do hereby proclaim April 3rd to April 9th, 2023 as National Public Health Week in Rocky Hill, Connecticut, and I encourage all our residents to join me in this celebration and in acknowledging the critical role of public health in prevention and in helping individuals and communities to achieve and maintain good health. So on behalf of the entire town council, we wish to thank the Connecticut Health District under the leadership of Mr. Charles Brown and all of the wonderful people there on the board for their ongoing commitment and for all the hard work they did throughout the pandemic, and we know that they're continuing to do today. So congratulations. And now we'll move on to public comment. This portion of the meeting is specifically set aside for comments from the public, who are asked to limit their comments to 2 minutes. Any person wishing to provide public comment should email publicmeetings@rockyhillct.gov, and will be provided with a link to attend the meeting and instructions on how to participate. And I don't see any waving, so I'm thinking we have nobody. And there's nobody in the audience. So we're going to move on to appointments and resignations. Mr. Duff is not here. Is he always in here?
He's here remotely.
Hello, Councilor Duff.
Yep. Okay. No appointments or resignations from our side.
Thank you. Mr. Sherman?
Do we do justice of the peace for this? We did appoint a new justice of the peace, Sean Hussey.
Oh, there we go. We're putting it on the record, and we don't.
That was reported to town clerk already.
Okay, good.
Okay.
All right. So there you go. Thank you, Mr. Sean Hussey. Approval of the minutes, the Town Council meeting March 20th, 2023.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Abstain.
abstentions? Thank you. Town Council meeting, special meeting, March 7th, 2023.
Madam Mayor, motion to approve those minutes?
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
I
Aye. Any
believe that's an
abstent?
amendment to,
Yeah.
because we approved it last week, so it's an amendment.
It's a correction to the
Yeah.
March 7th meeting.
Okay.
I think you have in your package
Oh, there's an asterisk?
the page that is in question. It's page 3 of the minutes. On page 3, that first paragraph, the last sentence in that first paragraph, I believe it's highlighted.
Okay,
I did see it.
thank you.
Now, that's the...
So we're making that addition?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where it says the Mayor Murata, asked the town manager if he has any more referring to public correspondence on this Kelson Row issue. If he has any more, because they're going way over, and he said that is all he has. And Mayor Murata said, thank you. Basically, what it should say, I believe, is Mayor Murata asked Town Manager Carpentino if he has any more because they're going way over, and he said, I have a book in jest. Then he said, that is all. No. If I can have you go back in time, before that particular meeting, I had mentioned that I had read to the daycare.
I didn't see this in the minute packet. I'm just looking through it now. I have the meeting of March 20th. which
Should be
Oh, special meeting, I
one
see.
page.
Page 3,
Yeah, page 3.
4B.
meeting
Page 19 of the PDF.
B, Town Council special meeting, March 7th.
Correct.
Yeah, I see it. It's page 19 of the PDF.
Does everyone else
highlighted.
have it in their packet?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, all right, let's continue.
So if we go back to that meeting, just before that meeting started, I had mentioned that I had read a book to the daycare center, I think earlier that week, and how I was still traumatized by getting through it because it was a Dr. Seuss book, and the book was called One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish. So that was the book I was referring to.
Okay, is there a motion?
I think
we already have a
that's already
Do
done.
we, all right, that was our discussion, all in favor? Aye. Okay,
Aye.
thank you. Moving on to subcommittee reports, finance.
No meeting, no report.
Okay. Government operations.
Government operations meeting was canceled for this evening. Our next scheduled meeting is Monday, May 1st.
Thank you. Public safety.
No meeting, no report. Next meeting is April 17th.
Thank you. Senior liaison.
Also, no meeting, no report.
Land acquisition and farmland preservation.
We did meet on March 28th. Our next meeting is April 25th. At the meeting of March 28th, we just, Town Manager Carpentino, we just reviewed the plans that are already set in place, I think, is
Yeah, and just,
primarily what we did. And we know that the timeline from your presentation was that the next 4 months or so, maybe 5 months, for the ground to start getting some excavation work done. And then after that, could be the possibility of the barn. But just to give people a sense of the timeline.
right, it was just a quick update on the bidding process, which we put bid specs together with community development and our consultant engineer in getting in preparation of removing the soil and doing all the site work, like you said. And then as the site work is going on, we can start going out to bid for the actual barn and the pad for that barn.
And the committee asked that the finalized site plan by the Yukon consultants, that we reintroduce that and make it available on the website. So
website.
that the community could see it. And then we also asked for the ability to get the public, once the excavation was done, if we could get the walking track in and open up the site to limited access for walking path only. And we're going to look into that even before the rest of it gets developed, because it's a multi-year development stage type thing now,
Right,
so.
right.
That's it.
Thank you. Liaison to the state representative and state senator.
No report?
School liaison.
No report tonight, Madam Mayor.
Okay.
Thank you.
Capital Improvements Committee?
The Capital Improvements Committee did meet. The Capital Improvements Committee meets basically quarterly or approximately quarterly, an opportunity to take a long-range look, a 5-year approach at what both the Board of Education and the town side are looking at for capital projects, and just really an update. So in this particular one was a good prelude into our budget workshops, where we'll be looking at a couple of items on the capital improvement subcommittee. No actions were taken at this meeting.
Thank you. And that's it.
Economic
So
development.
Economic Development
We
Subcommittee?
also did not meet.
Yeah, thank you. There is nothing on our consent agenda, so we will move on to Old Business A, discussion, possible action, American Rescue Plan, ARPA money. I think we're
Thing on their side.
skipping over that. Okay, thank you. New Business A, discussion, possible action, Town Road Paving Plan, Director of Community Services, Steve Sopelak.
I'd asked Steve Sofalak to come to the, I guess, his annual update of the road paving program to give a quick update as to where we are.
Do you need to show us something?
Yeah, I have just a map of the town, so it's
We got
better
it.
visualized, but
It's coming now, yeah.
We got it now? Your screen's blank?
It's here now.
my screen's black.
Ah,
So I'm not sure if I... Oh, there it is.
okay.
All right. So real quick, 2013 is when we started this referendum. We had a $10 million referendum. If you notice, it's colored. So the dark blue's the best roads, best rated roads. They're rated on a scale 0 to 10, 0 to 100, 100 being the best, 0 being the worst, of course. Our average road network rating was 70. So that's, a lot of them are in the mill and overlay range. And how do I advance this thing? Advance. Then it's just press this thing. No. Okay. There we go.
There you go.
All right. Next one, 2019 was the next time we had the roads rated. As you could see, we're seeing a lot more blue. So our average rating was at 76.86. Today, we're at basically an 85. You see the sea of blue out there. So I mean, this program's working great. So for this coming year, we're going to be doing, you see the little pointer guy here? We're going to be doing Trinity Ridge and these roads here in, basically the ones in orange, Countryside, Cricket, Rosewood, Ridgewood, Parish, Woodhaven, and forget one right here, Pine Meadow, I think it is. Yeah, so that's going to be about 2.5 miles of road. We're also going to be doing what we've been doing with the preservation. Some of you probably have it in front of your houses. That's a thin, it's about 1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch of. It's a chip. It's a Portland cement, and it's a polymer modified asphalt. And we did that on, say, Catherine Drive over here in 2013. Brought that from in the 70s or 60s back up to 100. Now we've got 9 years out of it. Now we're back into somewhere between 50 and 70. So just so you get an idea, the blues on this map are where we've done traditional mill and pave. The greens are where we've done the preventive maintenance. And what the preventive maintenance gets us is, like I said, about 10 years at about 1/3 of the price. So rather than mill and pave this neighbor up here where I'm showing, or we got another 10 years for 1/3 of the price. Otherwise, we'd have been mill and paving that, and we probably have, mill and pave's only lasting 12 to 15 years. And we got 10 out of this other process. So as much as, we hear people, we got the cheap stuff is what I usually hear, it works. So, and it's saving us. So, and then as we move forward, we'll be doing that on some of these other roads, and just extends the life at a much lesser rate. So that's all I have for you. We can go watch UConn. Any questions?
Go Huskies.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to ask you about the Hayes Road, just very briefly.
Thank you. Yeah, so we get requests daily regarding stop signs, and they're always because of speeding. And if you go, we have this book called the Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices. It's a mouthful, MUTCD. In 1966, the federal government mandated all streets and highways open to the public has to follow the manual. It's about 1,000 pages, and that dictates your traffic signs, your traffic lines, your pavement markings, and traffic signals. And in the book, numerous places it says stop signs shall not be used for speed control for various reasons. And then it goes on further to say that, stop signs should be on the secondary road approaching the main road. If you need to put it on the main road, you have to do a traffic study. Traffic study involves 3 components: accident history, geometry, sightline, and traffic volume. And it has to meet 2 out of those 3 conditions to warrant a stop sign. We've had a couple requests in 2 locations. One is on Dividend Road, and we actually have all the data back from the police department, and that doesn't warrant a stop sign. It didn't have a sightline problem, didn't have a an accident history, and the average speed was 28 on a 30-mile-an-hour road. So it's perception of how fast cars are going. Hayes Road, a little different. We're still waiting to get the traffic study back from the police. You probably see the trailers out there, but it doesn't meet the other 2 warrants that it needs to. Sightline, the geometry. That road was designed in 1935 by the state of Connecticut as an arterial road to carry heavy volumes from Rocky Hill through Weathersfield. If you ever drive that, you notice it's pretty straight for miles. So it was designed for heavy volumes of traffic. And then, so that's the geometry part. Accident history, they want to see 4 accidents in 1 year. We have 15 in 18 years, and they're all at either the stop sign or the traffic light. There's 2 that were not at those, and there were somebody backing out of the driveway, got hit, and an animal strike. So there's no warrants. To remedy the situation, we can look at a mid-block crosswalk. What I've seen in other communities is kind of different. They have the crosswalk. Both of them I've seen have been in front of places of gathering, like a church or that kind of thing. So the mid-block crosswalk's painted, and then they have a little receptacle on each side that has little orange flags. So you grab it, and whether or not that's a legal thing, but I've seen it, and so that's something we can try. So,
Excuse me, how did we get onto this topic? I'm just curious.
It's just been something that residents have brought up to our attention, and we did have a resident come in here and speak, I believe, during public hearing on it. So just took the opportunity while he was up here to ask about it.
'Cause I've been directing Steve to put up a stop sign on Hayes Road, because we have a new house located at a dangerous intersection for a child who will be crossing the street to going to, I think it's Stevens School.
Yep.
So I directed Steve to get in the place to get ready to put up the stop sign and do all the, what he needs to do.
Sure.
It's a local road. According to the state, local traffic authority has jurisdiction on local roads. So I've ordered a stop sign at that location.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
We've had
I'm just curious how we got into this so quickly.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware we were going to talk about this tonight.
it was just
Okay,
answering
great. Well, thank you for
questions.
the information. That's wonderful.
Yep.
Anything else?
Yeah, I just had a quick question. Not sure if you guys can hear me there. The costs have been going up over the last year or so due to the the supply chain, all sorts of inflation. How do we feel that we're tracking? We're in the later stages now of the road referendum money. That we see that pool of the voters approved. How do we feel that the burn down on that funding allocation has been? Do we feel that we're pretty on close to target to the number that the voters approved to be able to get the work done, with that amount?
Yep.
Or do you think there's some more involved?
Can you bring those slides back up, Ray? Yeah, to answer your question, yes. This year was a big, huge increase in the asphalt price. I'm waiting for the slide, but I can paraphrase here. So I have the history. Here it is. So we go down here. So to complete, let's see, all right, for this year, we're anticipating $1.3 million roughly. To finish the project, it's about 3.2 million, and we're somewhere in around 4.5 to 5 left. I don't have all the numbers because some of them I don't see. They're like for other maintaining the bonds and that kind of stuff. So I don't have all those, but it's not going to skew it that much. And then just for history, you can see here milling kind of holds level. This year, actually, Tilcon was not the low bidder. It was Rafferty. Tilcon was about $1.68 a yard. You see they kind of hold kind of level. It's the asphalt prices. We mostly use this .375 leveling and top, and kind of held level. And then 2019 it jumped, dropped back down again, jumped a little last year. So, but it's usually been around that $70 mark. It's basically $87 a ton. So it's really jumped up this year, almost 19%. So I'm hoping that it holds level for the next couple of years. It's just so volatile, you just don't know. So that answers your question. And same with the tack. That's the tack coat. It's basically a glue that holds the pavement to the new pavement to the old pavement, and that's even jumped up quite substantially there. It's a petroleum-based product also, so it's gone from 550 to 7. It's actually 775. I made a typo there. So.
But it sounds like, just to not to, I guess to paraphrase, it sounds like we do, at least right now, have enough to cover the
Yes.
remaining.
Yes. And then, I thought I had it. So the alternative method that we do, the pavement preservation, comes out. So that ends up being, just to give you an idea here, where's my numbers? I had too many things in here. 16.25 a square yard right now. When we started this process, it was around $10 to $11 a square yard, just to give you an idea. The micropave, when we started this, was around $5 to $6 a square yard. Now it's $7. So that's held a little more steady. It's, other products in there. So, and like I said, that's, well, you could do 2.5 times the amount of road with the micro.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
So Steve, after we finish this process, we get all our roads back into that green and blue area.
Yep.
What's it going to cost us a year to continue to maintain the road? I'm not, just
Yeah,
ballpark. So we can-
I mean, right now we're spending. So if you're doing, you're still going to have that road that needs to be mill and paved.
Sure.
So that's going to be, depending on the length of the road, let's just say 300. And then the micro surfacing, we're doing between 500,000 and 600,000 a year. So you're probably around the $1 million mark. And the micro surfacing, as I said, has held up. It might not be the prettiest thing sometimes. You'll see cracks, but if you go out there with something thin sticking in the crack, you're going to find it only penetrates down to the thickness of that material. So we're not getting the potholes and that kind of thing. You see the cracks, but that's it. So it's been really work. And the nice thing about that is it goes down a thin little layer. You can put another layer over that. You don't have to mill it off. You can go another layer. You don't really have to adjust the structures. And we go right over the concrete structures, which protects those, because the worst enemy for that is salt. So you see a new road, within 15 years, they're starting to really disintegrate from the salt. So we go over it with that micro, and it really saves them.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do we have a pothole list? Are we aware of? Are there
Very few.
pothole
Joe?
list?
Danny?
We have a couple locations that we have to continually, but, we stay on top of it because we know the locations. And we're actually getting to those areas, hopefully this year or next year, to eliminate those problems.
We have one issue on what we call Outer France Street, and there's something wrong with the base, so it's kind of a pothole, kind of a sinkhole. Other than that, there's nothing really that's, keeps flaring up in the same location.
Nothing we haven't been able to manage.
And we have that great app that you can track, right? So if anyone wants to complain about a pothole.
We have very few inquiries on that or requests.
That's
very
awesome.
few. Yeah.
Thank you. Great job. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it. Thank you. All right, moving on to update B, Deep NIP Funds Program Plan. Mr. Lentini?
We asked our expert recycling director, Joe Lentini, to come to the council tonight to give an update on the NIP fund projects.
Thanks.
Take it away, Joe.
Do you want me to touch on revenues for you first?
I would say give them the revenues first and then,
So as you know, we've been receiving every 6 months the dollar amount for the NIP fund or spirit money that we received. So far, we've had 2 installments. We're at $23,000, and we're bringing this to your attention because we're expecting in the next few weeks to receive an additional $11,000. So we'll have accumulated over $30,000, and we wanted Joe to come in and share with you what his plans are for those funds.
I believe last year we communicated about a solar unit called Big Belly. And it's a dual unit. It's recycling and trash. They're both together. They're mounted into one place. We can relocate it. They are solar energy, and they're Wi-Fi, so that they will notify our Park and Recs people that the trash bin is at 70% capacity, or, it's full, it's time to empty. And this would save us tremendous amounts of hours in the next few years. And the trash is compacted. So when you throw your plastics and your recycling away, the machine, once it gets to a certain level, the machine will crush it down, push it down, so you can keep on adding it in. The total weight is 50 pounds is when it will notify everybody, the crew leader, that it needs to get empty. So a 50-pound bag, instead of a 96-gallon cart full of who knows what, dirt, all kinds of crap, heavy stuff, and trying to lift that and then go dump it. This is convenient. I think it's going to be cost effective. The time that it's going to save Park and Rec is going to be astronomical down the road if we continue with this program, as long as that NIP stays in effect and we can get the money. Right now a dual unit costs $9,650 for a dual unit that we could place at a park, Ferry Park, at the amphitheater. And again, I can move it around. We can bring it, if you got an event somewhere, I can pick it up, put it on the gate, and drive it over, place it. We could put signage on it. We can educate, communicate. I think this is our future. And I don't know, if you go around a lot of big city towns, West Hartford, Middletown, you could see these units everywhere. They're all over their main streets, and hopefully we have a green in the future down the road that we can be utilizing these units. I think now's the time. This is it. These units will be excellent for this town of Rocky Hill. And especially we're moving in that direction with the recycling, with the trash. And this will be a great asset and a tremendous help.
How many are you thinking of getting?
Well, because I just got the quotes today, so obviously with everything in the last few years, the price has gone up. So, I'm thinking 2 units for sure right now. And then we'll see how the 2 units work, how we move them around. And, in a year, we'll look at 2 more. But I think for this bottle money, this is the avenue, this is the approach we need to take.
Joe, they're movable, they're easily transportable, right?
It's 540 pounds. So all our lift gates on all our trucks, we can lift it no problem. Slide it on. And the mounts, I can buy, the unit will come with two mounts. I can buy an extra 2 mounts, so I can set up a mount somewhere and then just deliver it and place it on the mount, so nobody could tip it over, nothing like that. Plus, they're fire rated. We had, last year at Elm, we had, somebody or something, but the fire started in 2 of our carts, the 96-gallon carts, a blue and a green one, burned right to the ground. These will notify the fire department if there's a fire in it.
How many gallons are they? The Big Belly.
So it will hold up to 50 pounds of trash and recycling, each one. I don't know the exact volume.
And did you say it compacts it?
It compacts it,
Both of them?
both of them.
Wow. That's cool.
And as far as the recycling, all of it being one piece, when it gets to the facility, after we bring it to the transfer station and load it in our, we just got to place it in our receptacles. When it gets to the facility and the MRF, that it's easily broken apart and sorted, goes wherever it needs to go. Paper, plastic, metal, glass.
Is this compactable unit, are there compactable units that we could get, down the road for the transfer station so that there's not, because, you go there and the cardboard is like,
Yeah.
after a few hours.
I actually have other ideas about the cardboard and a compactor.
Okay.
It would be a unit that is self-contained, just cardboard, paper. Well, it would be all, but it would compact. The attendant would press a button and squeeze it in, something like a 40-yard container. So instead of making deliveries every Monday, I can make a delivery every once a month. So that would save time and material.
Would that qualify under NIPS as cleaning up, potentially?
That might be stretching the
It might be
definition.
yeah.
That might be
We
stretching.
can certainly look into it.
I could definitely look into it, but because I have looked into, stuff, because I'm limited in space down there, but you need power for those units. You can't run, a solar wouldn't work.
Gotcha.
With the units you're talking about, are there any ongoing maintenance fees or service contract with the
I
manufacturer?
did communicate about that today. The training that they provide is tremendous, and there are warranties that I could purchase along with that. So $96.50 for an extra $197, I get 5 years. And what they do is they train us, and they send us the parts, and my mechanics can repair it. This is what he explained to me today. We could do all the repairs. The maintenance and the repairs is everything that we can handle once it's our unit.
Cool.
And then we talked about the revenue side. The town's getting about, it sounded like there's a payment of 23,000 and then and another one coming of 11, so it's a little over 30. How many Big Bellies does that get us? What does the cost of these look like? Do we lease them, or is it a outright purchase?
No, it's an outright purchase. The purchase for the unit is $9,650. That's a double unit. That's a trash and a recycling that are together as one. So that's one unit. And that's what everybody recommends, that you get the double unit, the one unit. So, 965 times 3, we could fit it.
And do they do anything with food scraps, or is that something where, like, we would have an event at Elmridge Park and we're trying to get people, to at least get their mind around the food scrap piece? Would that be something that we would have, I guess, just a separate receptacle for, because you don't want that food scrap sitting around for a while, or is there like a part of the Big Belly system that we could get that would go with it? Is there anything like
at this,
like
no,
that
at this time, Chris, no, that program is not in place. But I mean, not for nothing, because the events that people are having there, they have food there. I mean, if we can get this other program on board and flying, there's no reason why I can't bring a receptacle or two over there and manage it that way, so we have the food scrap recycling. And again, more education, letting people know I got a sticker, we placard these units, and we could do food waste. I don't see, that should not be an issue. That should be easy.
So I think it's an easy enough behavioral change when we get there. Folks, you scrape your plate, scrape the food off of it into the one bucket, and then maybe you move your plate over to the Big Belly. But just wasn't sure if that was something that fit into it.
No, not right now. Big Belly is just trash. It's regular trash and recycling.
Thanks.
Any other questions? I'm super thrilled, so thank you so much. I think we're going in the right direction.
Absolutely. This is it. This is the future.
This is it. This is the future of Rocky Hill.
Yeah. I agree.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
We don't need like a motion to this is more of an update, right? We're not a.
Yeah,
we
just
don't
an
need any
update, yeah.
Action to move forward.
Yeah, we don't have any documents, official documents. Okay, wow, we are on Mayor's report, so here we go. So, we're following a bunch of bills, and I just want to give you a little bit of an update. So, there was a hearing on car taxes and motor vehicle assessment. There was this bill that was going to completely eliminate the car tax, and we all freaked out. It would eliminate close to $1 billion of reliable revenue for towns in Connecticut and replace it with revenue from a landlord licensing fee and insurance surcharge. But that was actually turned into a study. So we're going to see what happens, and that's going to head to the Senate, and they're going to see what they think about turning it into a study. There was also another bill with respect to how motor vehicles are assessed, and we've talked about that before, using the manufacturer's suggested retail price as opposed to the book that is currently used. That was projected to reduce motor vehicle property taxes by about 20%. So that's really not a good thing for us, but it's a good thing if you're a car owner. However, there's really so much technology that's involved with making that transition that I think they're going to delay that for another year and take a look at that process. There is something interesting. There is something floating around there about increasing the uniform assessment rate for property taxes from 70% to 75%. That's Senator Looney's bill, and we'll see what happens with that. I mean, obviously, that would add income to our revenue on our revenue side, but it probably isn't something that is going to go over well with anybody. So hopefully, I don't want to speak against having new sources of revenue, but that's probably not the way to do it. With respect to early voting, there are a number of bills out there, and they were all voted to move forward for more discussion. Essentially, it looks like we're either going to have 10 days of early voting or 14 days of early voting. That's being discussed now, but notably, all of those bills at present do not have any provisions for providing reimbursement to municipalities. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens there. I know I was testifying at the Appropriations Committee, and the Secretary of State appeared, and she said, please give the municipality some type of reimbursement, but that language has not yet made it to any of the bills. One thing that was good for us, the governor had wanted to add that extra $5 to the tipping fee for trash, which would have been problematic. He wanted to do that for mirror towns, but that didn't fly with anybody. So we don't have that extra cost this year with respect to our tipping fee. This is really something. So I just wanted to let you know that I did, like I mentioned, I went, virtually to testify in front of the Appropriations Committee, specifically about the pilot program, so what pilot does, for those who don't know, there are a number of properties that are state-owned properties, and as such, we're not able to tax them. But the state has a reimbursement program in place called Payment in lieu of taxes, hence pilot. And under Payment in lieu of taxes, the state is supposed to reimburse us 45% of what we would have been receiving in taxes, or I guess you could look at it as 45% of that lost tax revenue. Half empty, half full, I guess, your glass is, right? So when we looked at the numbers, Rocky Hill has 29 properties that fall under the pilot scheme. And if you looked at the assessed value of those properties, those 29 properties, it's greater than $158,000, right? So imagine being able to tax $158,000, or not 158 million, $158 million worth of property, right? So we're not able to do that. But under pilot, we should be getting more than $2.4 million annually. And we have not been getting that. In fact, I think the last time we received about $700,000. The year before that, it was less. The year before that, it was less. So I went to the committee because there was a bill up that said, hey, let's take a look at the pilot program and see if and how we should fund it. So that really struck a chord with me because this year the state has a $3 billion surplus. We hear it continuously how much money there is. So in my opinion, if there's ever been a year to fund a program that's so fundamentally important to the municipalities, it should be this year where pilot is fully funded, right? It's really the easiest, most direct, common sense way to help municipalities, which in turn help the taxpayers, right? So I really, I went up there and I that's precisely what I said, that, we cannot wait, continue to wait year after year for these delays in funding, especially when you look at the totality of unfunded mandates that are out there, right? There are so many unfunded mandates. There's actually an advisory commission on intergovernmental relations, and according to them, there are 1,400 unfunded mandates on the book. And I know that we here in Rocky Hill have a number of unfunded mandates that we have to live by. So when you look at the lack of funding for pilot, and you combine that with the funding that is being taken away from us so that the state can implement other programs, right, without repercussions. But then we have the repercussion of having to raise taxes because we're not getting that income that is supposed to be coming to us. It's not like we're looking for extra income. It's on the books. It's supposed to be coming to us. So essentially that's what I went there and talked about and said, please do not look at supporting any future programs unless there is a defined and secure funding mechanism, right? Because all of this stuff is important. Early voting is important, right? Reducing car taxes, it's important. Giving some consideration to folks who are running nonprofits, giving consideration to folks who are running group homes. I get it. It's all important. But there never seems to be a reliable funding mechanism for us, and that's patently unfair. So,
I have one question, if I may.
well, it's the mayor's report. It's the mayor's report. But I can take it after the mayor's
Okay.
report, Okay. And then finally, I just want to tell you that April is You Rock Award Month. So I'm going to put a form up on social media and on the website. If you have anyone that you would like to nominate for the You Rock Award, please reach out and we will do that. And that concludes my mayor's report. And now moving on to the town manager's report.
Okay, you all have my memo dated March 31st, 2023. I'd like to start off with saying that I have appointed interim police chief, Lieutenant Brian Klett, effective April 1st. He did attend one of our first staff meetings, so he will be the interim police chief until further notice. Vietnam Veterans Welcome Home Celebration. On March 30th, the Connecticut Veterans Affairs and Commissioner Sadi and former state rep Ted Graziani hosted a Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans ceremony. I'm not sure if everyone knows what that means. I certainly did not, and I was educated and just shocked that we have not really celebrated this until now. March 30th is officially Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans Day. In May 2010, Connecticut became the second state in the nation to pass legislation designating March 30th as Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans Day, recognizing the need, and this is in quotes, to right the injustice our Vietnam veterans suffered as they returned home. March 30th is designated as the day the last combat troops withdrew from Vietnam. The celebration was very well attended, many dignitaries. I look forward to it next year. Citations recognizing the Rocky Hill Fire Department award recipients. Back in, I believe it was February, the Rocky Hill Fire Department had an award ceremony recognizing many of its members. Come to find out that Representative Kerry Wood in the Connecticut House of Representatives would like to recognize those members who received those awards that night at a presentation up at the LOB Wednesday, April 5th at 10 a.m. So if any of you can make it, that would be fantastic. And again, I was mentioned earlier, Central Connecticut Health District has a newsletter that they have published, and also that April is, what is April? April is
I can tell you right now what April is. It is
National Public Health Week, yes, yes. And I did quote a message from our Director of Health, Charles Brown. I don't know if you want me to read through this, but it's in the package, yes?
No, you don't have to.
Okay, good.
Did he want you to read? Did he want you to read that?
Well, you did the proclamation.
Okay.
Sustainable Connecticut. They will be visiting Connecticut. Actually, they will be visiting Rocky Hill, April 19th from 9:30 to 3:30. They have reserved a room in Town Hall. They would just like to get together with them with themselves to discuss affordable housing and how they may tackle issues in Rocky Hill. They have invited the mayor and I for lunch to discuss issues with affordable housing, and also our town planner, Kim Ritchie, and possibly probably Dave Baumberg. They just want to gain insight as to actually the state program and how it's working in Rocky Hill, and also what they can do to help our local sustainable organization. Our IT department is undergoing a free cybersecurity assessment on behalf of the Connecticut Division of Emergency Management and Homeland Security and the Connecticut Military Department of Joint Cyber Team as part of a Homeland Security grant. This is the grant. Part of the grant will be to do this assessment free of charge to the town, and John Nowakowski will be attending that particular assessment. It's really very important that we do this in order for us to retain our liability insurance and all sorts of insurances and keep our bond rating where it is. Let's see, I have a couple of additional items here. If I can get through this, I apologize. You may have received a link to the new 2023-2024 budget. I just want to say that for anybody listening, it is available online now from our website. Anybody can click on the link and work their way through the proposed budget. Very exciting times. Right?
It is very exciting.
The Rocky Hill Historical Society will be holding a session on check out the new Center Cemetery website, April 18th, which is a Saturday. It's free from 1 to 2. Last time, as you recall, Ed Ciccarello made a presentation to the town council. Fantastic project that they did. You can go to the Historical Society at Academy Hall to find out all about it, how to work your way through it. Should be very educational, entertaining 1 hour. And also on our website, we have added some new links to the Fair Rent Commission, and also links to a new application for the Fair Rent Commission for people who are having issues with their landlords that pertain to issues that the Free Rent Commission is responsible for, such as charging excessive rents and also living conditions. So prior to this, we didn't have the application linked like this. We actually didn't have an updated application, and you really couldn't find your way through the website to get to the Fair Rent Commission. Now, it's very easy to get to. You pull down a form link, you get to the application, and you can get all sorts of information on legal assistance from a number of various different legal and human assistance organizations. So, we really beefed up that function. And I think that is all I have. Yes, that's all I have.
Awesome, thank you. So we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Madam Mayor, motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.